Today's video is all about selling soap in person. After a huge break due to moving to another province, we got a chance to sell soap in person in Calgary for the first time. So if you're interested in finding out how we prepared, how the show went, what we learned, and how much we made, then keep watching. One of the first things we needed to do was to package our products. Here, I'm assembling our soap boxes. If you want to see a video on how I made these using a Cricut, there's a link right here. We recently made the switch to paper boxes for our soaps, and have never sold these in person in their new packaging, so I was a little nervous to see how people would respond. If you want to find out, Kayla and I discuss that later on in the video. To transport these soaps and other products, we really like these shallow plastic totes with lids. They protect our products nicely and help save space in our car. You can find them in any home goods store like Walmart, Canadian Tire, even Costco has them. We also needed to label a lot of products, so that's what we're doing here, using labels from Online Labels. I love the sheer variety of shapes and sizes of labels that they offer, and they're pretty much my go-to company for all of my product labels. For example, these 1" by 5" labels are the perfect fit for these shallow plastic 8-ounce jars. It's definitely important to label your products so that your customer knows exactly what they're buying, but we also need to communicate prices. And for that, I love these chalkboard signs that I picked up from Michaels. An American equivalent would be a Joann's or Hobby Lobby. You can also probably get these from Amazon. To write on them, I use these fluorescent chalk markers. What's great about these markers is that you can erase them from chalkboards using water. I love these signs because they are really durable, are easy to transport, and when you write on them with neon markers, are very eye-catching, which is super important when selling things in person. To use the markers, you'll need to give them a bit of a shake and then pump them up and down a few times to get the ink going. I purchased these types of markers before from Michaels and from Amazon, and the ones from Michaels were always very good. A few of the ones from Amazon seemed dried up and unusable, so I wonder if they were sitting in a factory somewhere for a while waiting to be shipped and I just got a bad batch. So for these signs, you'll want to keep them pretty minimal on info. Just the product and the price. You literally have a few seconds of your customer's attention and you'll want them to know the gist before they move on to another vendor. To make it even easier for customers to read my signs, I do a bit of a color system. Pink for prices, white for products, and green for the word hemp. This really helps the customer's eyes go faster to the info they're most interested in. And for those wondering, we were able to finally get Jiggy to Calgary. We documented the process and we'll be telling you about that on our vlog channel, The Zimmerman Life. But she's doing well and loving the Calgary life. So in our move from Ontario to Alberta, we didn't take with us those bins and tray that we use to display our bath bombs. To replace that, we purchased these organization racks from Winners. Keep watching if you're curious how that worked out. We also needed a new tent. We decided to invest in a quality tent and weights from Uline. This tent was very durable and came with a handy bag with wheels that made this really easy to transport. We also liked that the bag had a pocket for the tent walls and whatever other things we'll need for the tent. So you can see how everything fits into our car like a Tetris game. Everything has its spot. After 3 years of vending, Kayla and I have this pretty much nailed down, but the bath bomb display racks were a little awkward since they don't pack flat. But we figured it out, and everything looks pretty well organized. So here are some other things. These are shopping bags for our customers, and here are my trusty risers that I've had for years that I use to display my soaps and scrubs on. I love these guys. We also took our Square Reader for debit and credit transactions, a cash float for change, and hope in our hearts that we would make some money selling soap in this new city. So on the actual day of market, I ended up being really sick and I wasn't able to attend, but you were able to go. And I'm going to insert footage of how Kale set up the table right here. So what was it like vending in a big city?
It was really, really good. It was a fun environment. This was the Kensington Night Market, kind of an urban setting, kind of a trendy part of town. And it was just great to be back in person. The amount of people coming through, I think, was usual, but it was also equivalent to a busy farmer's market, kind of in a more smaller town that we were accustomed to doing before.
So how was finding parking and everything? Because we had never done an event in a downtown of a big city before. So what was that all like?
Yeah. So it's the situation was you go and drop your stuff off in the area that you're going to be, then you go and find parking, and usually we've done that, and there's a big, huge farm field or something to park in, or a big dirt lot. Gravel lot or parking lot. Yeah, but now you had to kind of fend for yourself, find a pay parking lot or street parking. I fortunately found street parking just right across the street, and then kind of paid a couple hour-and-a-half increments of a couple dollars. But the car was nice and close. That was convenient for when I had to re-up the amount of time. It was just right across there.
So setup was okay, and you met a lot of people there?
Yeah, met a lot of people that had been doing the market, this Kensington Night Market, every week, but also people that have been doing it kind of every other week sporadically. So just kind of got their 2 cents, what they thought of the market. They said that, some nights were busier than others. It kind of slowed down a little bit towards the middle of the summer, but we were doing it the last night, the last market of the season, and so people said that the flow was pretty good that particular night.
And that alone, I think, makes vending worth it, the networking aspect of it, where you get to meet other people who are doing the same thing that you are, selling different products. I think there was only one other vendor selling soap. Being able to get their feedback on not only the market that you're doing, but other markets that you could potentially sign up for. So that's one thing that you were able to do, is to get some networking opportunities where you heard about other markets.
Yep, heard about a lot of other markets, both in town here and outside of town, which ones have been successful for certain vendors. Following up on a really hot lead right now for where we might do something on the regular next year.
So for us, whatever we make is secondary to the networking opportunity to be able to expand our business in that sense, but also in the sense of exposing Calgary to our products. People that don't even know about our YouTube channel, about our social media, who were able to discover us from that market alone, and you got to meet quite a few people that way. So that in itself is also a really good opportunity. And speaking of, thank you to the people who did know about us and who did come and visit us because they heard about it through our social media. Thank you for coming to say hi to Kale. He appreciates that so much, and I know that a few of you were sad that I wasn't there, but I promise you the next market I will be there, and that will be end of September. We'll announce it in our social media, but that was so awesome for you too, was to get to meet people from our Patreon, people from, subscribers to our YouTube channel, and that was a cool experience.
Yeah, I love putting faces with names. These are names that you see kind of on a computer screen, or names that you see on an order sheet when you're putting a package together. It's really satisfying to actually meet the physical person that's behind this name. So that's one of the major things that I enjoy most about this.
But here's the interesting bit, and I know this is the part that most of you are curious about, and that is how much we actually made. Our goal for most markets, I think for every time we're in person selling our stuff, we really aim for 4 times the table fee, and that's what we got. So I think it cost us around $100 for that table. And we made about $440 that night, which, for us is a really good outcome. Being newbies in a city, trying something for the first time, that's a really good outcome. Back in Midland in Ontario, whenever we tried something for the first time, results like that we wouldn't get until we've been exposed to it a few times. So I'm proud of you for being able to sell the products.
Yeah, it's just different markets. It's where we used to be, a table fee would be $25, $30, $35. Here, it's in the triple digits, but there's also more people coming through, so still happy to meet that times 4 mark.
And in terms of item display, we got rid of a lot of that stuff. So actually the day of, we had to scramble for a lot of the stuff. And one of the things that we had to get was something to display our bath bombs. That drawer, that tall rack with the cubbies in it, how did that do?
Really well. I like how that looks. Having the two of them next to each other kind of creates that sense of abundance. Originally, we wanted those racks to be kind of at the end where the lip balms were, but with where the sun was, I decided to have them kind of right in the V of where the tables are. Mm-hmm. It worked really well. It was kind of like the cornerstone of our display. People kind of went right into the middle of that V area there, and it's something that was accessible to even the shorter population too. So, kids were able to come up and kind of see them. They're at eye level with kids, so they're also not too short where the top levels are visible to adults too.
But everything else was the same. Our soaps were displayed in that collapsible riser that we've always had. Same with our lotions and our scrubs. Our lip balms, we had a little bit different. We had them in a shallow container that we got those containers from IKEA, so we just had them in there. And we didn't know how that would go, but that actually went over pretty well.
Yeah, the lip balms were displayed pretty well. People could see kind of right into those little containers to see what flavor the lip balms were.
So lip balms sold really well. Our soaps sold really well. I think that was probably our #1 selling item were our soaps. And that was a surprise to me. I don't know why I thought that wouldn't go very well, but people really loved the packaging. The soap boxes that it created in Cricut, I think, made a big impression. People seem to be really drawn to that. And on top of that, people seem to be more drawn to the sparkly, more decorative soaps, more so than the less flashier soaps, I guess is the right word for it. So that was an interesting thing to see, because up in the Muskokas and the Simcoe area, I think people seem to want more natural. They really love lavender, but here in Calgary, French lavender soap was the one soap we didn't sell any of, which is so bizarre to me, because people love that soap.
Yeah. No French lavender, also no orange patchouli either.
Yeah.
That's one of the natural ones.
Same with bath bombs as well. People seem to like the ones with the sparkles, and they really love the bath bears. Yeah. And it was those types of products that were slower sellers over in the Midland market. So it really depends on the location and the customers that come through, which is why I think selling in person is so important, because you really want to know what your local market is looking for and what they like. Because I think when you're selling anything, it's good to have as many streams of income as possible. You want to try to sell things in person as well as online. And this market was really important in educating us on what Calgary likes. So that was really, really cool to see. One thing that was not a great seller were anything in the plastic low profile jars. Mm-hmm. People really liked the glass jars. So the sugar scrubs in there. We didn't sell any lotions that time, but that might change as the weather gets colder. Yeah, when you're selling in person, pay attention to what people gravitate towards, because that's something that will help you make more sales in the future. And it will definitely shape how you make your business choices in terms of packaging and in terms of your branding, seeing what draws people in more. One thing that you told me that you were glad to have were those chalkboard signs that communicated to our customer the prices of everything, what the things were. You thought that those were really effective?
Yeah, those were great. Yeah, those were really helpful. Those were, I think, bigger than the ones we usually had, so people could see what the product was, what the pricing of it was, could see that we have our magic ingredient, hemp seed oil, in there. So that was well displayed from people could see that even outside of the tent.
Yeah, and that's so important when you're trying to catch brand new customers, is letting them know you literally have 2 seconds. And in those 2 seconds, you got to let them know what you're selling, because they'll just walk on by. And that's what most people do at those types of things, is they're browsing. So it's good to communicate things from afar as well as up close.
Another good area where we had those signs was the rustic soaps for $5. And it was good for people to see that there is a lesser expensive option for soap that was right next to our $8 soaps. So having people see that kind of from far away kind of drew them into those soaps that we had unwrapped, a little bit different shape. There was a guy, I think he was my favorite customer. He was looking at the $8 soaps and was kind of on the fence, but then he saw the rustic soap for $5 and he's like, I'm going to pay $10 and get 2 of those. And so I was like, okay, would you like a bag, sir? Nope. And he just unzips his cargo pockets and put those naked soaps right into each one of his cargo pockets, zipped them up, and walked off.
Yeah, you'll get a whole host of customers, and we're not saying that you should appeal to everybody, but as many people as you can within the target customer you're going for is, I think, best practice. So variety in not just your products, but in price ranges is so important to be able to increase the final sales amount when you're counting everything. Because if people are coming to the market and they only have $4 to spend, it could be on your $4 lip balm, or it could be on, is that yours?
That's me.
Okay. Pause.
It reminds me from when we had like the little minis too, where
Yeah.
our old bars we would cut in fourths sometimes and then sell those little things for $2 or $3.
Yeah.
An even less expensive option for people just trying out our things.
So variety in price ranges and products and heights too. I think that's important. We should touch on. I mentioned that we had the risers and the the bin thing that we got from, I keep saying Michaels, but it was from Winners, I think. We got it from Winners.
The risers were from Winners, yeah.
No, not the risers.
Oh.
The cubby racks. The cubby racks.
For the
bath bombs.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we had our products at different heights. It's not just all on one flat table. There were different places where a customer's eye can rest on, and I think that in itself draws interest. So important, I think. Maybe one of the most important things when it comes to planning your display at height.
Yeah.
If you're going to take away one thing, that's the one thing I would give to you guys, is make sure that your stuff is at different eye levels.
Yep.
So overall, this market, I think, was a huge success and a great start to our vending career here in Calgary. We do have more events lined up, and we will be attending them. We have one event right now per month leading up into December, which is exciting. I'm really glad to be getting into it again, getting into the scene. And maybe by 2023, we'll have a more regular, maybe a weekly farmers market. We'll see.
Yeah.
We're still feeling it out.
Getting back into it, yeah.
Yeah, getting back into it slowly, yeah.
If there was another Kensington night market for the season, I would absolutely go, but that was their last one for the season. Yeah.
So I think the big final question is whether or not vending during a recession or kind of a downturn in the economy is a smart idea. Ultimately, I think yes, if you can afford to do it, if you are able to continue your business. I definitely think scaling down is important. Definitely don't go all in and invest in a ton of materials and a ton of other business things. You should definitely be more focused, more streamlined, spend less, and be cautious this time of year. But definitely don't give up on your business right now. If you can get into a market, I would say do it. Don't spend a crazy amount on a table fee. I think keep things reasonable, but overall, keep going. I think a recession doesn't mean the end of a business. I think it just means a harder go at it, but it'll be the ones that stick it out and are smart about it that will be there at the other end when things swing back up again, which they always do. And I definitely think that the fall time and Christmas time are times you don't want to be shutting things down. You'll make sales during this time of year.
Yeah.
Might not be as much as last year, but people are still buying.
Yeah. Summers are typically slow. And our best individual markets have come around Christmas time. So
they really have. Yeah. And I just opened up my business and we have orders coming in. So it's busy for me still, which is great. And before we go, I want to quickly thank our patrons. Thank you so much for supporting us and our business and being able to be as generous as you guys are, especially my Bubble BFFs listed over here. You guys are amazing. I would not be able to do this without you. If you guys haven't noticed, at the very end of my videos lately, I've been inserting a sneak peek into the next couple of videos, so stick around to the very end to see what's coming up next in this channel. We are back to the 2-video-a-week cadence, which I'm so excited about, and just some exciting things coming up for Jerica Zimmerman and Quench Bear, which I am so excited to share with you. So thank you for everyone for coming along on this journey with us. You guys are amazing. Thank you for watching. Now let's see what's coming up next.